Vettel is here in Aston Martin music. Can the Bulls mount a charge against the Mercs? Are the Pink Panthers front runners? Let's jump the start.
Welcome into Jump the Start Racing. My name is Wellington. I'm here with two of my closest friends. Say hello, Ruben.
What's going on, guys? Welcome back.
Yancy. Hello.
What's going on, fellas? Welcome back. Another race week.
That's right.
Let's do it.
Yes, sir.
So we're leading into the Hungarian Grand Prix, but before that, we just want to tie up some loose ends. A bunch of news. Actually, I can't even call it news. It's rumors have been floating around. So I just want to make sure to address those things. Number one, Racing Point is being investigated by the FIA based on based on Renault filing a protest on the brake ducts. We've been calling Racing Point Tracing Point because they copied Mercedes as far as their 2019 car. So Renault went through and essentially triggered a protest saying that they borrowed too heavily from the 2019 Mercedes car, and these are our issues. Yancy, do you want to jump in and give your thoughts on what this could potentially mean for Racing Point?
Well, what it could mean is that they can disqualify the car. And if they disqualify the entire car for the rest of the year, that could be a problem because then we're going to lose a team. Now, do I think it'll get there? Nah, I don't think so. It seems to be that Racing Point or Tracing Point, as we all like to say, did their due diligence with the FIA over the summer, and so, but the reason why Renault picked the brake ducts is one of those things where you can clearly see on camera when the cameras are in the pits during the practices or qualifying, when they take off the wheels, you can see it. Now, when you see it, man, they look very, very similar. Now, will they win it? I don't know. I hope they don't, because honestly, it's spicing up the field. It's something new to talk about, and it's changing the pecking order. We're talking about Racing Point potentially being a top team, which is crazy.
Yeah, it's something that within the FIA regulations, you're allowed to take photos of the cars. You're allowed to model your car based on what you see of the other cars. You're not allowed to pass information from one team to another. There were a lot of questions last year or 2 years ago. You guys correct me if I'm wrong, or let me know which year it was. But Haas and Ferrari, there was a lot of talk of, hey, this is actually a copy of the previous year's Ferrari.
That was 2018.
Right, 2018. And Haas, that was, I think, one of their best years ever. The car did really well. It was actually a very strong car in the midfield. Ruben, what are your thoughts on this whole thing?
No, I think it's a clone car. It's obviously you could see it from far
clone
away.
Car or a clown car?
clone. It's a clone. You can see it. You can know this is nothing new. Obviously, Haas did it. It didn't work for Haas. I just, it's interesting that they pick up so much pace. Obviously, it's the engine supplier, so we don't know what Mercedes share with them. They're not supposed to share that, but who knows? And the process, I think they're not going to stop coming because they have so much pace. I don't think people were expecting that big of a jump in pace that they did, and they have and they're saying they could be stronger. That's the problem too. Like, okay, so you want to take me up on it? I could be better. Yeah. So screw you guys. I could be better. So it's just a matter of when are they going to get tired of, or what's next? What's the next protest? I hope they remember the company around there that made the brake ducts for them.
Yeah. I do remember the uproar in 2018, and it was the same talk. Like there was going to be a lot of protest over the Haas car, but the car never really, it was good in the midfield. I think it ultimately finished 5th or 6th. I'm not too sure, but it was around there. So the
I-
protest never came. But this car, this Racing Point car, I mean, Carlos Sainz even said it. He said, "Listen, this car is not a midfield car anymore. You know, that team is
but I
not a
got with
midfield
you.
team."
But McLaren didn't want to say anything about it. Like we have no protest with it. Let them race, whatever. What did they see that Renault has not seen yet?
Well, because Renault is supposed to be one of the top teams, man. Renault is a works team. They have an entire car manufacturer that's owned by the country of France behind them, and they're nowhere compared to that team. You know, they're the ones that are supposed to be consistently fourth and challenging for podiums, and they haven't even gotten there yet. And they
They'll be a
definitely
good
have
team in
plenty of
2 years.
time.
Two
So,
years.
Renault, it seems like it's just salt. They're salty, as the British would say.
Well,
So,
also with the McLaren is actually much more competitive than the. Well, I can't even say that much, but it's more competitive than the Renault this year. So, as far as the Racing Point and unlocking more potential, I think we're going to start seeing that, especially with when we come up to power tracks like Silverstone, Spa, Monza. When we get to those tracks, you're going to start seeing that Mercedes engine really stretch its legs and kind of leave everybody else in the dust. We're going to start to really see that separation.
yeah, but what's gonna set the Racing Point car apart is that it's also modeled aerodynamically after that Mercedes. It's almost the same as the last year's Mercedes, and that Mercedes was quick. It blew out the field. You're talking about
Almost,
five. I think
almost a
they had five. Well, I mean, they had 5 1-2s in the first 5 races. It was crazy, and that car is good. Is quick. Even Mercedes noticed when Sergio Perez got into clean air, it was lapping around just as fast as a Mercedes this year. It's gonna be a problem.
I don't
I
know.
mean,
So we'll
what
see what
how they
comes
gonna
out
get
of
away
this.
with it? How they
I'm
gonna get
sorry.
away with it? How they gonna get away with it? It's going to be a lot of investigation throughout the whole year. We only have so far 10 races. So
To be frank, I think it's going to get thrown out just like 2 years ago it was the Haas and the Alfa Romeo, so it wasn't just a one team copying the other. It was a
yeah,
Ferrari kind of supply team, I guess, get together or whatever. But I don't foresee really there being any issues with the Racing Point because they had submitted the car prior to this season. So they had
yeah.
already, testing had already happened. The FIA had already seen the car. I just don't foresee any issues.
I
Like
for I
what did the
I
what did
for
the Renault
one
see?
don't want. Go ahead, Ruben.
No, I said what did Renault see that the FIA did not see before? I mean, they presented the car, they got it passed. We're racing, so now Renault's like, hold on. Those brake ducts are the same. From what? From pictures? Do you have the drawings of it? Like, do you have the architecture structure of it? It's tough to say.
Yeah, man. I listen. I don't. I hope the protest doesn't go anywhere. And I don't think it will. Uh, I want to see these type of changes in the pecking order of the field. I want to see another car, fighting for podiums. Man, this is what we want to see. We want to see
Hell
racing.
yeah.
We don't want to see somebody blowing away the field. At the very least, I mean, Mercedes is gonna blow away the field this year, but at least we can get a fight for second and third place. At least.
Well, yeah, where the Red Bull has in aerodynamics and the chassis, Racing Point probably has in engine with the Mercedes engine. All right, so from there, we're going to move on to, I guess, really the hot topic recently is the Sebastian Vettel rumors. Uh, Supposedly, he's in talks with Big Daddy Stroll, Aston Martin, potential future Aston Martin Racing for next year, but it's really Racing. Lawrence Stroll is the owner of Racing Point, or one of the owners of the Racing Point team. Uh, Vettel, being a four-time world champion, is a very attractive driver to put onto your team, a team that you're trying to get a bigger name for. The rumor is that Vettel would be signed on to the Racing Point team next year, become Aston Martin Racing Point, in lieu of one of the drivers that's currently there. So we know Lance Stroll is the son of the boss. He's not going to leave. Sergio Perez, he did well last race. He's actually been a fairly underrated driver that needs kind of a car underneath him to really prove himself at this point. but they have he has an exit clause, or the team has an exit clause that has to be triggered by July 31st in order to be able to get out from underneath it. What do we think about this situation? Ruben, what do you think?
Uh, I like it and I don't like it. I mean, Vettel coming towards the team and they're rebranding and all that stuff, and the pace they're showing this year. Oh my god! But what I don't like is, come on, Perez saved that team last year, or the year
2 years
before,
ago.
whenever the two
Yep.
years ago when the thing happened. Come on, Perez should be like their golden child. I hate the fact that you know they're like enforcing a clause or whatever that I don't know what is the freaking clause that they have. We could fire you for not performing, but come on, look what he's doing already so far this year. Screw that, man. Like this freaking, I don't know. I don't like it. I like it. That Beto might be coming over and stuff like that, which is awesome. Beto's a top driver. What I really think about this is Stroll should take a back seat, be like a manager in the team. Come on, Stroll, no matter what car you give him, he's not going to be a world champion. So take a back seat, bring Beto, and we're going to be good. That's pretty much my 2 points on all that stuff. That I think Stroll should take a management position within the team. Your dad owns the team. Like you're not going to get better than that. And let Beto on Perez, because Perez is an awesome driver. Let's not take
Nancy,
credit.
what are your
Let's not
thoughts
take
on that?
credit.
Listen, the it's not gonna be Racing Point anymore. It's gonna be Aston Martin Racing.
So it's not
We're
going to be
talking
Tracy.
about a no. It's gonna be Aston Martin Racing, and you have a chance to bring Sebastian Vettel, who has what I call 4 legend makers, 4 championships in his on his side, right? You think about any other sport, right? And you think about what defines legends. It's championships. It's not MVPs, and there is no MVPs in racing in Formula One. There's no driver of the year. There's none of that. There's just championships. The people who are remembered are the ones that win championships, and Vettel has 4 of them, right? So if you
Yep.
can get rid of Perez, you can get rid of Perez, get rid of Perez. And you know why they were going to get rid of Perez instead of Lance Stroll? Even though that would be a great team, like a great driver lineup if you kept Perez there with Vettel. But it's not going to work. Why? Because Vettel, anytime that Vettel has been successful, and even with the limited success that he has had with Ferrari, all the resources and everything points to Vettel. They have to rally around Vettel in order for him to be successful. So we know Lance Stroll is not even gonna come close to drive
Yep.
as well as Vettel. He's not even gonna come
Never.
close. So there's gonna be peace within that team. It's probably the best bet to keep Lance Stroll there and bring in a 4-time world champion to that team. And if
Screw that. Get rid
Vettel,
of
if
Stroll.
you handle him
Sucks.
right, listen, if you handle him right, Vettel will do wonders in a car that's already super quick with the best engine in Formula One.
So
You.
you actually addressed what my concern would be if Perez were to stay. We saw when he had Esteban Ocon as a teammate, we saw that he had some sharp elbows, that there was some, let's call it carbon fiber flying on track that belonged to his own teammate. So do we see Perez try and kind of peacock and say, a 4-time world champion is coming in, but I'm still a really good driver, and I just never really had a chance outside of my early days with Sauber, and then that 1 year with McLaren that the car was already in decline.
Okay, you guys convinced me. He's out. Paris, get Paris out of there. You guys convinced me. Get Paris out of there. I don't want that for the team. Get Paris
You know,
out of there. Go.
Cars,
no,
listen,
Enjoy
the other
the
thing
year.
would be
there's already
to get Stroll out of there, because at the end of the day it's a business decision, and
Of
Lawrence
course.
Stroll,
But
being the
remember, Paris
businessman
brings
that
a
he
lot of
is,
money too. Paris brings a lot of money.
yeah.
but they don't need the money. They're Aston Martin Racing,
Well,
bro.
that's
They're Aston Martin Racing, and they got a big cash infusion already from Lawrence Stroll.
And they
Listen,
got Benz behind them. And they got Benz behind them.
yeah, man, that's gonna be like a mini. That's gonna be a Mercedes Benz Light. It already is this year with that car, man. Come on, bro. They don't need that money. And Paris will be fine, man. There's already a news report came out today where he even said it himself that there's been another F1 team that contacted him about a drive, and there's been
Yeah,
other programs that contacted with him about a drive. Paris will be fine, man. But if you got a chance to bring in a world champion, a fourth, not a one time, not a two, not a three time, a 4-time world champion, man. You bring him in, man. You bring him in. He's only 33, bro.
Yo, you
Get
saw
out of
the,
here.
you remember
You
that
can bring
press
Hulk
conference
if you
that
want.
they had with the press conference they had with Dwayne Wade, LeBron, Chris Bosh? Not one, not two. That's what you just sounded like. That's how many championships they were going to bring to Miami. Oh my god.
They only got two, though. They only got two.
Speaking of champions, just to I guess move forward from there, you guys have anything else to add with the Strolls news or Vettel?
Strolls.
Nah, man. Listen, Aston Martin, that team is gonna be a problem, man. That's gonna be a problem.
Yeah, it'll be a problem this year. Like I said,
Yeah.
With the package
driver
change,
lineup. Yeah, we're back to talking about champions. The champions, the world constructor champions, Mercedes, they re-up on Valtteri Bottas's contract, so he will be in that seat in 2021. Kind of weird that they haven't figured anything out with, not that they haven't figured it out, but the contract with Hamilton is not yet settled, but they brought in Bottas. What do you guys think of this move? Ruben, what do you think?
The Bottas, he did say that it was good that they did it now, so he doesn't have to worry about it. He doesn't have to have that in the back of his mind. Being that it's also on top of everything, it's a short season. On the Ham situation, maybe Ham is, also holding back on. Hey, I want more money, and if this guy's getting more, I want more than that, and I want more than that, and I want more than that. And also Ham has a lot of money with him too as well.
I don't know. Yancey, what do you got?
No, I don't think with Hamilton is about money. He's gonna get paid anyways. When I saw this news, the only thing I thought about was maybe Valtteri Bottas. Now that he doesn't have to worry about his contract situation, maybe he can take it to Vettel. He seems like he's driving better this year,
Take it to
but
who?
I don't put my hopes.
Take it to Hamilton, not to
I
Vettel.
don't. Well, I'm sorry to Hamilton. I'm sorry. I still got the Aston Martin thing in my head. No, to Hamilton this year, but Bottas doesn't convince me because he starts off well, he's very inconsistent, then he drops off, and we all know how good Lewis Hamilton is. We've been over this so many times, and we can still keep going again because he's a once in a lifetime driver. And if those who are new to the sport, are watching this man is almost, like I said before, almost like a Michael Jordan figure. He is making history and just revel in the fact that you can watch him race. But Bottas always races better when he doesn't have a contract situation over his head. They got it out of the year after the first two races. He already has a race win. He's leading the championship. Maybe he can just challenge Hamilton, and I think he's the only one that can this year.
But
From what it's looking like so
they
far.
let them race. Are they going to let them race? Remember, Bottas is number.
Hell yeah. Well, I mean, they don't have a reason. They don't have a reason not to let him race at this point.
I don't know. Ham
No,
is,
I mean, at this, Mercedes is going to jump out to such a lead that it's for them. It's just not going to matter. Go ahead and freaking kill yourselves if not. Well, I mean, that's not nice. But the other thing is, Bottas was going through a divorce last year. That I don't care who you are, that's going to affect you as you're trying to work on your craft. So he had the contract issue last year and the divorce last year as well. Now he's got a new girlfriend. He's got his seat secured for next year. I don't know. I'm hoping to see Bottas be able to step up and tighten the screws a little bit on Hamilton.
Yeah, I hope so too, man. And we need somebody to challenge him.
Hey, his girlfriend's on the track already. He got a girlfriend on the track.
Yeah. Well, and that's something that we didn't know about Bottas last year, that he was going through a divorce.
Yeah, definitely not.
Yeah, of course it'll affect you. But now, listen, he has his girlfriend. They seem very happy, and he has his contract. Man, take the gloves off, man. Let's go. Let's race.
So, as far as other, I guess, driver news, the Williams, they confirmed George Russell and Nicholas Latifi are coming back. It's almost like it's not that they're coming back; it's that they're not escaping. I guess is
Then
the
I'm
way
moving
I
on.
would say that.
Then I'm moving
Yeah,
on.
Yo, they're gonna win the championship next year, man.
from your lips
No.
to God's ears.
Imagine the finish ahead of Ferrari. Ooh.
Nah, listen, this is a solid driver lineup. I mean, we haven't seen anything from Latifi yet, but he seems to be, getting acclimated well. Every time you have a rookie in the field, by the way, I'm predicting that he's gonna win Rookie of the Year this year.
He's the only rookie.
Exactly. but um, but it always takes rookie drivers a few races to get their wheels under them, I guess, in Formula One. So we'll see how that pans out. Russell is a talent, man. He's gonna be good, and I can't wait to see him. In a good car, challenging with Leclerc and Verstappen in
That's
Norris.
virtual Grand Prix champion George
Yep.
Russell to you. Okay, as long as the cars are set to equal, he's really good.
Exactly.
And
He
that
took it seriously, man.
All right, so just to take a more global view of where everybody is going and what's happening for next year. So obviously Ham is going to be with Mercedes next year. That's just a matter of time. Bottas is secure. Sainz and Leclerc are with Ferrari. That's done. Verstappen is going to be with Red Bull. Albon most likely will be with Red Bull, right?
I think so.
Mhm.
What seats are open? McLaren has Ricardo and Norris. The only question marks I see are Haas, Alfa Romeo if Kimi makes a move,
Mhm.
and then obviously what we've been talking about with the racing points. But I think it's pretty much all set up, right?
Yeah, pretty much. I think the only big story you have there is Haas, but you don't know if Haas is actually going to be in the sport or not. They haven't signed the new Concord agreement, which is the agreement all the teams sign. Basically confirming that they're going to commit to the sport for a certain amount of years. So we don't know about that. But Haas, I think they need to blow things up over there. It doesn't seem like it's working, and they're languishing in the bottom again, like last year. So
I think
it looked promising for them a few years ago, but
Well,
I,
they're not going anywhere.
I think once they sign Paris, that they know they're going to have a steady income now coming in, they'll be good. Paris is going
if
to bring
if
that
if he
rich
gets
energy.
Just
kicked off
had
a
a
racing point, yeah.
Paris is
so
coming, is bringing that rich energy money that they're missing.
No, but you know what? It's unfortunate for Haas, who along with now Alfa Romeo, they had those killer, unfortunately illegal Ferrari engines in 2018, and then they took a.
but why you gotta say it like that for, man?
I'm trying to
Yancy, I
be
didn't say it.
informative,
He
but
said it, okay? He
unbiased.
said it. I didn't.
No, but they had those Haas engines, or I'm sorry, those Ferrari engines 2 years ago that were killer. Last year, also killer for most of the year until the investigation. And now, if you guys saw, the only teams that didn't score points, or there were 6 drivers that didn't score points, and those 6 drivers, or of the drivers that didn't score points, 6 of them had Ferrari engines, as you saw this
Yeah,
past weekend. And
Well,
I that's obviously got to be affecting Haas and Alfa Romeo big time.
yeah, big
it's
time, big
also
time. I
affecting
mean,
Yancy too.
excuse me?
It's also affecting you.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I'm trying
What?
to,
They were in the
I'm trying to,
42nd?
I'm just trying to be optimistic and things will get better, but it's not looking too good for me, man.
All right,
Yeah, but that's a problem, man. I mean, it's true. It's true what you're saying. Everything points to Ferrari were doing something very nefarious. SAT word.
Or
They
what?
were they were doing something wrong, Ruben. They were doing something wrong with that engine, and they've taken a step backwards, and it's showing on all the cars that are powered by Ferrari this
I just
all
had a
right.
laugh.
So yeah, of course. Moving on from the driver lineups, the Styrian Grand Prix. Any final thoughts of the news that's been coming out over the last couple of days before we move on to Hungary?
Uh, I think the steering Grand Prix also showed that Mercedes is very, very ahead on pace. Ferrari's obviously toast for the year. No, sorry, Jensen. And Max is still going to kill it with the Rebel, but the Benz engine is killing. It's going to kill it this year, right, Yancy?
Yeah, yeah, they are, man.
That sounds so
What else?
enthusiastic.
What else is new, man? What else is new? What else is new? Yeah, I think yeah, I'm I think I'm just looking ahead to the midfield battle, to be honest with you. And we don't know where Red Bull is at as far as pace
Right.
with Mercedes. I think that as far as like constructors or even teams, Red Bull is our only hope. I don't
I
know
don't
if
know.
maybe Racing Point, man, maybe Racing Point the way
Yeah, but
they're lapping. I mean, if
remember,
they could get a better qualifying position, maybe they can challenge.
remember,
We'll see.
the steering was in the Rebel Ring, which is their track, and I want, obviously it had some difficulties, but they didn't perform that well either. Max had a
Well,
tip broken,
we'll,
big
we'll,
deal, but he
let
still was not there.
let's see where they're at. I mean, with the race coming up, and we'll be talking about
That's
that a
another
little
one.
bit
Yeah.
later. You, Red Bull is, I told you before, aerodynamic magic, man. They know how to get around a tight and twisty track. So it's going to be an interesting weekend for sure.
It will. It will. I can't wait for it.
Yeah, so that's my, that's one of my concerns is where exactly is Red Bull? I'm wondering if they were affected by the rain, like very affected by the rain on Saturday because they're so dependent on obviously their chassis setup as well as their aero setup. And obviously the conditions aerodynamically on Saturday were just not the same as what we saw on Sunday. And it's one of those things where you set the car up and then you just kind of hope you have the right thing.
I mean,
I mean, you had the
the
benefit of last week you were in the same place, so you should have an idea, but it could have affected them.
yeah, I think when I wasn't, I didn't see the time on Max the last lap that he spun out, but Lewis was just back to back, dropping and dropping even more. I would have loved for Max to finish that lap to see where he was at. Because remember, Max is also very good in the rain. He has shown that already in the past. But obviously, King Lewis.
Yeah,
Yeah, but I also think that again, the Red Bull Ring is a power track. I don't know if the Honda engines are
Up to
up to
par.
par with Mercedes. So it could have been that also. I mean, either way, and then Max was there or thereabouts with Lewis and during the race until he hit a curb and broke part of his front wing. So and then on top of that, part of that front wing got lodged into his barge board, and that affects the aerodynamics of the car dramatically. So we'll see, man. What I think if Red Bull is anywhere, it's going to be because of Max's driving.
Yeah, I believe so too.
yeah. What's crazy is I was watching. It used to be called Pure Pit Wall. I forget what it's called now. I guess a race debrief, the Mercedes video, and
Hmm.
they mentioned the Max issue, and then they also mentioned the Valtteri Bottas. He had some floor damage as well, which hindered him in his chase while he was going after Max, and could have affected him in that battle that they had.
Wow.
No, I see. I didn't know that. I didn't know that.
Wow.
Yeah, but that's an issue because anything that happens with those cars, any little thing breaks off, everything is calculated in F1, especially with the aerodynamics, because the point of putting all these fins and vortices, is to control the air to the back of the car. So if one thing is off, they don't have enough downforce to get through the corner. You're going to lose grip. You can't get around as fast. You know, any little thing that happens is going to that is going to like mess up the way that car drives, and then the drivers have to adjust. So that's why you have to be a good driver in F1.
Yeah, and we were talking about Red Bull pace as to where it really is. I'm very concerned with Alex Albon, in the sense that, like, I'm not concerned about him in particular, but maybe we talked last time that, or 2 weeks ago, that Max lapped Pierre Gasly, his former teammate, and now we see Alex Albon 40 seconds behind Max. Is that the true pace of the car? And is like Max just essentially just beating the crap out of it? Um, I think it's closer to what Albon is showing than what we're seeing with Max Verstappen. I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know.
yeah, that makes sense. You know, Max is one of those drivers, like I said, that can hustle a car around the track. He's very quick. So it and the sign of a good driver is always if you can take a, I'm not gonna say that the Red Bull is a bad car, but
It's
a
not up
car
there.
that is not aerodynamically sound and can make it better. So now you put an average driver in, then you can really see you can get closer to what the true pace of the car is. But then again, it is known that Formula One teams tend to build their cars around their star driver, and maybe they've built that car around Max instead of Alex Albon.
Gotcha. I mean, I hope he doesn't turn into a peer. He showed pace last year. He showed that he could be somewhere, but this last race he was back. He was far behind.
Yeah, but I don't think he'll turn into a Pierre Gasly. I think he's shown that anytime he has a bad race, he comes back and he does better, and he definitely has more balls than Pierre Gasly to make these overtakes when he has to make them. It's just that when he's in a good position to get a podium or a good result, he runs into Lewis Hamilton.
There you go. You ain't
Or
getting
or or should I say that Lewis Hamilton runs into him?
or to a Benz car. Because look what happened with Sergio Perez.
So the only other thing is that I would say is just to kind of close out this whole, I guess, Styrian Grand Prix discussion is in Austria. We saw that Max Verstappen went out and Alex Albon was threatening potentially for first place. So that's how affected the Mercedes cars were by the curbs and the whole issue with the gearbox loom. And I'm going to refer to the race debrief again, but both James Allison and I forget the other guy that was with him, but they both mentioned the gearbox loom being an issue and that it was fixed. So from there,
So the duct tape
um,
worked.
the duct tape did absolutely work.
Nice.
It always does. The Hungarian Grand Prix, it's out in Budapest. It's what we call a technical track. It's got a lot of what I'm gonna say is you have to set up the next turn while you're making the turn you're approaching now. So it's for example, if it's a quick right left, you have to just make sure that you're on the left side to be able to hit the. You just have to set it up. It's hard to kind of explain it without driving it. The track itself looks like it almost looks like brass knuckles. I don't know if you guys see that, but like it's
I love your analogies of, of these tracks. Yo, but it's true though. It does. It does. It does look like brass knuckles. You're right.
one of the interesting things coming into this race is obviously the regulations regarding COVID and coronavirus. The drivers apparently they were already told and warned that not only if they break what their curfew is, which not the curfew, but essentially it's from the airport to the hotel to the track to the hotel to the track. If they break that, they face a $15,000 fine as well as potential imprisonment.
Crazy.
What?
So I'm about to go drop a line on on Hamilton, see if my boy Bodas could take the lead. Like, yo, I saw him out of the club.
Yeah, he was clubbing.
Yeah.
Can you imagine if a driver actually gets arrested and locked up, like let's say right after free practice 3 or something like that, or not even free? I'd say free practice 2, and then they can't race or they can't do qualifying.
I mean,
That'll be insane.
we already
Bro.
saw last week that both Valtteri Bottas and Charles Leclerc both broke the quarantine rules. They both went back to Monaco during a race week. Who
I
would
hope
be
they brought. I hope they brought their PlayStations. They're gonna have to be staying in their trailers.
they're going to be in the gulag?
Yeah, exactly.
No,
it's
but
tough.
a little bit of recent history. 2019, we saw that Lewis Hamilton ended up winning the race. Max Verstappen was actually on
On
pole.
pole.
Hamilton won the race. Sebastian Vettel third. 2018, it was again another Lewis Hamilton win with Vettel second and Kimi Raikkonen third. The track itself, like I said, it lends itself more to, or like we had been talking about, it lends itself more to like a chassis and strong aero to be able to keep the speed up during the twisty turny track itself. Uh, Yancey,
Red Bull.
yeah, exactly. Yancey, what are you looking forward to going into this race? And what do you think, maybe prediction wise, maybe you could just drop one on us real quick?
Um, we're gonna see a battle for with Mercedes and Red Bull, and honestly, the I love overtakes, and we're gonna be seeing a lot of the overtakes into turn one, basically after that long straight, because that's really the longest part of the track.
Mhm.
That's where they can get the DRS, and that's where you get into a large braking zone where whoever outbreaks you can get a pass. And there's that's one of that spot was one of probably one of the most famous overtakes where Nelson Piquet, I believe, overtook Senna, basically
Drifting on
doing
all wheels.
a Tokyo drift on all wheels, which was insane. But before that, he tried to do it, and he
Shot it.
went in too quick and he overshot it. So, but this is what this is the beauty of the calendar. You're gonna get races that are going to require a lot of engine power, and then you're gonna get races like these. This is almost like a Monaco, but and not in the streets, on a track, very tight and twisty. You don't have a lot of room to overtake, so you're not gonna see a bunch of overtaking. You're gonna win the race basically on how you set up your car and your strategy. And this is we're gonna be looking at tire strategy, what tires these drivers are on, what calls they make, and when they pit. This is what we're gonna be looking at, and obviously, Mercedes and Red Bull excel at both.
Yeah, I mean, because of this track being like so twisty and stuff like that, it's done a lot of actions throughout the years. So it's just been it's been a track where people have to watch, how they do it, when they do it, and at what time they do it. If you could even go back to the Ham and Alonso incident on the pits, where
Oh wow, yes,
and then it was not me. I didn't do anything. They just didn't let me go. But
that was during qualifying. I think
yeah,
that was what
other than
I
that,
forgot what year that
bunch of stuff with
was.
this track. Like for example, if you go back in history, the first it was done like 1936, the first race ever there, like first
No,
Grand Prix.
1986.
No, no,
1986.
1936, the first Grand Prix. I'm talking about going way, way back before it was even Formula One kind of stuff.
Before you were born.
Exactly, yeah, yeah. And but the first F1, yeah, was 1986. There was no Grand Prix being held at to this level for 50
Hmm.
years. So that was
Oh,
until
wow.
F1 came back, which our boy that's no longer around because he got ousted, Bernie Ecclestone, and a couple of people brought it back too. But this track is also, like for example, if Ham wins this year, he'll tie Schumacher for having like the most wins on the track. What else? There's a bunch of things. Like for example, I think there was also like where pit strategy it started to, I guess, to shine. It was that race, I believe, was in what was it? I can't remember the year. And I think it was I have it somewhere in my notes here, where it's pretty much Schumacher came into the pits due to the strategy, and he was, because of his tires, he was able to pull up at front like a 34-second lead or something like that.
Wow. What people don't know is that Ruben is 40 years old. I think he's actually been watching F1 for 50 years. Since before he swimming around, he was
he
watching F1.
he came he came out of the womb with a helmet on.
Something like that. But all the things that I noticed while I was like looking for things for the Hungarian Grand Prix is that Ham is the one obviously with the most wins in this track.
Yep, 7.
Constructor wise, McLaren has 11 wins, and Williams, which is all the way in the back, has 7.
Yeah, but how long ago was that?
But when they were a top team, they'll be
Yeah.
back. I have my hopes for Williams. They'll be back.
Well, if they get a cash infusion, I don't see why not. Williams, is an historical team. There's a lot, and I think they put either the entire team or actually part of the team up for sale during the break. So if they get in cash infusion, they definitely have a good team under them. They just gotta, they just need the money. As in, it's in Formula One. You need money to get up to the top team.
Oh, I got another one. I just checking my notes. This track was Alonso's first win, and he was that time the youngest Grand Prix winner too, and the first Spaniard to do it in Hungary.
Oh wow!
My boy Alonso.
Sir,
So I don't know. We talked about the potential overtakes. I just don't see it happening a lot in this race. Turns 12, 13, 14 are essentially 12 is like a 90, and then 13 and 14 are almost like little parabolicas where it's almost like a U, and then you're going onto the straight. Because of the difficulties of following each other aerodynamically, I don't think that there's going to be many opportunities for
well, I got
overtake
one for you.
on that main straight. I hope I'm wrong.
I got one for you. What part of the Brasinoco is that you just mentioned?
It's the grip at the bottom, the one that you keep in your hand. No, but Ruben, what are your predictions going into this one? We got Yankees. What do you think?
Yes, you said predictions already.
Well, I didn't give the drivers,
Okay,
but
so
I know I think it's going to be a battle between Red Bull and Mercedes.
Yeah, the construction will be definitely between Red Bull, Mercedes. I believe Ham will take it. Max second, and Bottas will be pretty much back and forth with Max.
Actually, I think it was you that told me that Hamilton walked into a room once that he just heard the dyno going, on and off or just revving and going off, and he was able to correctly identify that the car was in doing a simulation of Hungary. Ham loves this track. I think that was also his first race win. Correct me if I'm wrong, Hungary. I think that as much, I think he's going to win it. But if I had to put in my prediction, because it's a must win for Red Bull, I'm going to go with Max, then Ham, then Bottas. The reason for that is after this race, we then go to Silverstone twice, and then it's Spain and Belgium, which is Spa right after, and then Italy, Monza. What's going to happen after this race is we're going to go into tracks that are just strictly power tracks. And if Red Bull doesn't make a push to catch up now, we're going to be in a situation where Mercedes is just going to be long gone, and that'll be a wrap for the Constructors' Championship.
I like that.
So what?
Yeah, I mean, Hamilton's going to win this race. I think he's going to take another one of Michael Schumacher's records, which he's slowly but surely, like I said, he's possibly the best driver ever, and he's breaking those records that people once thought could never be broken when Michael Schumacher was setting these records with Ferrari in the early 2000s. Lewis Hamilton is special. You guys are watching history. Appreciate it. Don't hate. Appreciate. But I think Hamilton. I think Hamilton takes the win. I think Max comes in second. Yeah, and Bottas third. I think those are my predictions for this race.
Okay. All right, we'll see. We actually got to start writing these down so that we could keep track.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think any have any of us have been right. We gotta.
We've probably been really wrong.
Yeah. But it's fun to make these predictions, anyways. Right?
All right, so that's it going into the Hungarian Grand Prix. Unless you guys have anything else to add.
No. I mean, just another race, man. And again, we've been so long without racing. We're getting 3 in a row. Are you tired of it? I'm not.
Definitely not.
I'm just missing the bar. I'm missing that part of the races, the bar.
Absolutely.
Yeah, for sure. Maybe one day we'll get there.
Will it be quiet now? The Ferrari's behind,
Oh my god!
It's like pouring salt in the wound.
Dude, I don't know. I think Banato's got to go. I think it has to happen. Like he's an engineer. He's not like a team boss. Like they were in better position with Arriva Bene.
Yeah, I don't know. There, somebody told me this. I think on social media that what happened in the Styrian Grand Prix was a long time coming for Ferrari, and it was just one of those things where it just showed how dysfunctional that team has become all around, and they need to turn it around. Bernardo said it. What happened? I think he even said it before even that crash between Leclerc and Vettel happened. That what's been happening there is not befitting of the name Ferrari.
Wow.
He said it himself, and they got to turn it around. If it's not a if it's not a crash between teammates, which they've crashed twice in the last four races. It's a bad strategy call. It's a mechanical problem with the car. It's Vettel spinning. There's so many things, and as a fan, it's sad to see. It's almost like being a Knicks fan.
Oh God,
Again,
Um,
please. Oh,
um, you know, they gotta do something, and I'm not against Bernardo, being replaced. Uh, Maybe he should just take a step back and do what he was
do
doing
what he was
before,
doing.
because
Yes, the car was
yeah,
more successful there.
as a technical director, I mean, he was the one responsible for that car in 2017, and that 2017 car was nimble. It was fast at every track. It didn't have the same caliber engine that Mercedes had at that point. Um, but it's still, they still managed to put a really good title fight against Mercedes and Lewis Hamilton. And but again, those uh, those problems reared their ugly heads again, and they just couldn't take it home. But that was probably their best chance to win. Maybe 2018 also, but I think 2017, um, they had a really good chance to win the championship that season, and they just couldn't do it. So
I just in my head, I see that. Okay, like Vettel, whatever he was spinning around, whatever. We talked earlier today about how Perez was with Ocon, where he had sharp elbows. Last year, we saw Max Verstappen in actually in Austria, Max Verstappen and Charles Leclerc going at it, and what was it? Max pushed them off the track, and then Charles Leclerc came back in Silverstone and did the same.
hmm
I think that from there, his mentality changed, and it's leading to more aggressive driving to a point where like you don't even need it. And it's weird to say that because you see the reverse in like Max Verstappen, who has calmed down quite a bit from the 2018 season. But what you're seeing now is almost it's not even aggressive driving or even assertive driving. It's just reckless from Leclerc, and it's to the detriment of the team.
I think even though he's backed by Yancey, I think he needs more experience. Remember, Max, made a lot of mistakes when he stepped up to a rebel, to be on the top team. Same thing with Leclerc. He's just stepping up to the team. He's getting a lot of responsibilities. He needs to calm down, make smart decisions. That is, like for example, last week was 70 laps, 71 laps. Come on, dude, chill out, man. You proved that you got pace, because the week before you finished in second. Obviously, we had 20 safety cars, but that's okay.
Yeah, I bet you that Carlos Sainz comes in and with just a little more experience, a little more patience, I bet you he does really well with that car, potentially even better than Leclerc does. I
I
know,
hope so too.
I know, I not that I hope so, but I think that's what's going to happen. And it's not that I know, yes, he doesn't want to hear that, but it's not that Leclerc is a bad driver. It's just that he needs that polish on the stone,
He does. He needs to
so to speak.
sharpen up, but sharpen up, like more rounded out wise. And I pretty much come down a little bit. What do you think?
yeah, I think Leclerc is going through the same thing that Max went through a few seasons ago, and any talented driver goes through in their first few years in F1. I mean, he
I didn't go through that, by the
he
way. I was good in the game right away.
That's until Wellington started to battle me. after he met.
Yeah, and then you T-bowed them
Exactly.
going through a turn in Australia. But as I was saying, Max, Leclerc is just going through obviously his growing pains. Yeah, he does need to calm down a little bit, but at the same time, if when you're a championship driver or you want to be a championship driver, you do have to put your elbows out a little bit. I mean, if he doesn't put his elbows out against Hamilton and Monza, he doesn't get that win last year.
You're right.
So it's just a battle. What champions do though, or a good driver does, is
They're patient.
they learn. Yeah, they're patient. They learn to they learn the delicate balance of what is putting your elbows out and what is causing an accident.
Well, that's the thing about putting your elbows out. They only look good when they work, but when turn into crap, what the hell are you doing?
Yeah, but like I said, it's a fine line that it's a fine line that you walk or drive in this case, and they got to learn that. It's only learned through experience, and one thing Leclerc has shown is that when he does make a mistake, he comes back stronger. So I'm not worried about it. I
I
think
remember. Stupid.
he'll mature into a good drive, into the championship driver that he's expected to be, and I'm hoping to see a championship from him sooner rather than later.
Yeah, when he leaves Ferrari, he will.
Yep.
No.
Just kind of to wrap things up. Just we could talk fantasy, but there's really nothing to talk about since I'm continuing to dominate. Just like last year, just like the year before. Um, you guys, I'll put the link to
You
our
you really
show
are
notes
full of yourself, man.
so that
Jesus.
maybe I could get some competition. Our good friend Steven was talking about potentially giving me some competition. We'll see what happens.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. I mean, if Steven comes in and takes over me too, then I'm like in real trouble because I'm in last place already. Like, okay, I made two more teams just for that to see like the two extra teams help me with points or something.
Wellington, how many computers you got running in your living room just trying to figure out who to choose for the next week, huh?
It's all about number crunching. My points per dollar calculation is working.
When I get to that point, I'm already
Mm.
fried.
You're fried right now,
Yep.
bro.
But guys, like we said, we'll put the link to our league in the show notes. It'll include the code as well. It's just a matter of the Mercedes dominance. I think you're crazy to not have them as the constructor. It's 72 points. It's $30,000 or $30 million. It's the same price as Hamilton, but you get his points and more. So it doesn't make sense not to have them on your roster.
I'm logging on right now.
I saw a
Let
team
me
earlier that had both racing points, Antonio Giovinazzi, uh, Hamilton, and Mercedes. I was like, holy crap!
Who
Like
did that?
that. I think it
Who did
was
that?
it was it was a team that I was looking at earlier to see if I could copy their
So,
style.
yo, look at that.
he's
He's still
he's
running
he's
prepositions.
he's he's doing what Tracing Point has done with
Exactly.
Mercedes
Making more
in
traces than
That
this
fantasy.
guy's
guy.
points.
Exactly.
Well, listen, all I gotta say is to be the best, you gotta
I,
beat the best.
I think he took one of his teams and he did a wild card and did that same team.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
All right, boys. Anything else before we wrap it up? Actually, I do have one last thing. I want to make sure that you guys are aware. We're online. Obviously, we're on jumptostartracing.com. If you visit our website, it'll go through. You can see all the podcast episodes as well as our show notes. You can follow us on Instagram at Jump to Start Podcast and on Twitter at the same handle. Correct me if I'm wrong, Ruben.
I think so. Well,
Okay.
No, on Twitter on Twitter is JTSR podcast. I
Okay.
think that's it.
All right, and you could also check us out on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, Stitcher, TuneIn, Google Podcasts. We'll be joining Podchaser soon, as well as I'm reapplying to iHeartRadio, so hopefully that'll get us in. And actually, we're also on SoundCloud now as well for anybody else that uses that as their preferred method of listening. All right, exhausted. Do you guys have anything else?
Nah, man, let's get to another race. I can't wait. Can't wait, man. Can't wait tomorrow. Tomorrow's free practice. Be watching be watching all the news that comes out of there, especially with the whole Sebastian Vettel and Racing Point situation. And then we'll see, we get an idea to see where these cars are at as far as this track is concerned. And maybe we'll get an idea of what's going to happen race day or and even qualifying. So let's get to it. Let's go racing.
Let's go see. Let's go watch the midfield. That's what I'm waiting for. The midfield again. That's where the action is happening.
Think we get more last lap action like we did
Maybe
in Austria.
if there's a free pit.
I don't think it's gonna happen. I don't think it's gonna happen. But who do you guys think will get? Who do you guys think will get the fastest lap here?
Ham.
Yeah.
I think it's him.
All right. You don't think it's gonna be McLaren again?
No. Dude, I mean, it's been a great story for them so far, but this is the type of track that you know what? Granted, they do have a good chassis. Back at, what was it, 2017 with Alonso, or 2018? I don't even remember. 2018. McLaren actually, despite having a terrible engine, they had the Hondas that were not good at the time. They still, I think it was 2017. They still
2017, I think it was.
they
Yeah.
still really put up a fight, and due to that chassis, they were competitive. So we'll see what McLaren has to offer this coming Saturday and Sunday, I guess.
Yep. Should be a good weekend. Should be a good weekend. Can't wait to watch it and then talk about it next time.
Hell yeah.
All right, people. Please like, follow, subscribe. Like I said, at Jump to Start Podcast on Instagram, JTSR Podcast on Twitter. Make sure to stop in and say hi. This is us signing off. We'll talk to you guys after the race.
Bye, guys.
Bye bye.
Peace out.